Meet you.
Same here, Marty.
Hello, everyone. It's Marty Colucci coming to you from Lisa's Care Connection. Thank you for joining us today. We have some exciting information and new person for you guys to meet. This is Dr. Fayron Epps. She is the principal investigator of the Faith Village Research. And just to tell you a little bit about where she's coming from today, she is a leader in the African American community on faith and caregiving and how they are affected by dementia. She oversees several faith-based research-related projects and is active member in several local, regional, and national organizations, which is why we're thrilled to have her. She works closely with a team, an interdisciplinary team, to promote quality of life for African Americans with dementia and their family caregivers and partners. So obviously you fit right into our community. So we are thrilled about that. Welcome, Dr. Fayron.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Marty. I'm looking forward to a great discussion.
Thank you. Well, let's just kick it off right from the start.
Yeah.
So tell us why, where your mission is. Why is it so important to reach and educate the Black community and with dementia? Tell me why is that specific?
So I'll start off with my mission. And
Okay.
so the mission is specifically for me as a person and also for my Faith Village Research Lab is for us to promote brain health, dementia awareness, and to improve the quality of life for families that are facing dementia through education and research. So, and I specifically focus in the African American community. So that's not all I do, but a lot of my work is centered in the African American community because I know the lack of awareness that exists there. There was Marty, there was a lack of awareness with me before I started this work and with my own family. And then as I got out, I learned that it was just overall us not understanding how dementia impacts the Black community, period. And so that was like, wait, hold up. Let me find families that are going through this and let me learn from them. And at the same time, let me try to educate our community so we'll know what is actually happening in our community, and we can decide how we want to best handle this or go on a journey, bring resources there, because a lot of resources exist, but sometimes it's just that we don't know about it.
A lot of times, yes.
Yeah, and so let me be that person or my team that brings those resources to the community.
Well, and I know you focus a lot, obviously, with the Faith Village on churches.
Yes,
So tell
yes.
us how, obviously you decided that was your means of carrying out the mission. Tell us a little bit more why you chose that and how that really works in your mission.
So, I go anywhere. I'll talk anywhere, talk to any group, but my main group it's the faith community. And so working with predominantly Black churches. And the reason I chose that is just like in other populations and other groups, usually the church is the cornerstone of that community. And I know how important the church is for me and my family, and not just for worship, just also for fellowship, to attend events, to get education. And so, as I was speaking with the pastors, especially in the Atlanta area, it was like, why not? Why not? Especially, I know dementia can impact across the lifespan, but so many older adults are experiencing this, and those are the ones that are still attending church. The younger folks, they're in and out, yeah. But your older adults are the most faithful members right now, and so churches really need to be aware of what's going on.
Absolutely. And as far as the African American church and African Americans in general that are caregiving, I assumed that of course, the church was the focus because that is their grounding. Tell us a little bit of the differences that you found in the Black community, that made you want to focus on these churches. What, as a caregiver, what do they look for that's different than maybe the normal caregiver? Like, what was your specific areas? I know we have found that a lot of African American families are very trusting of their churches, so that's where they go for their advice rather than going to an outside resource place. Are there some other things that you found that have been able to help you target and help those families?
I'm not sure so yes, the church is a trusted resource in the community. Um, but all families are not comfortable going to the church.
Okay.
So, because if it's like all families are not comfortable sharing it with their friends, because if you don't know about dementia, what this entails, you don't get it. You don't. And it's until you understand what goes on, then you can then understand what your parishioners are going through, or what your friend or another family member is going through. And so, I don't know how to exactly answer that. I have a program called Alter, and this is where I actually partner with the churches to start them on a dementia-friendly journey. So this is actually making them, they're already saying we're in this welcoming environment, but there's certain things that churches don't have in place to truly be welcoming, to truly be inclusive, and to include all. And so, I make sure I introduce things that can better help them serve those families that are facing dementia. Understand what the family caregivers, care partners are going through, and then also understand what that person living with dementia is going through, and how the church still needs to be there. And so, again, not only is the church the cornerstone, another reason for working with the church was what families were telling me, how they were leaving the church, how they felt the church was turning their back on them.
And it's really just a lack of understanding. It's a lack of knowledge from the church. Yes. It's not that they were necessarily, of course they weren't intentionally turning their backs on them.
I hope not.
No. It was just a lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
And so what I hear is, the church is not only a place to get information for families, but the church members are also that conduit to get the information and take it to others, whether it be their neighbors, their friends. And so it's to get them the information in order to share it for those that might not even be coming, even to that church or to a church at all.
Yeah. And so, Marty, that goes to why the name of my research lab is Faith Village, right? Because it truly takes a village. So it's not just up to that family that is going through this. It really takes the other members that are sitting on the same row with them, the same pew. It takes everybody within the community, everyone within the church.
Sure. Tell us a little bit more specifically about the Faith Village and also about the Altar program, because I think they're both fantastic. So if you could just share a little bit of details about those.
So the Faith Village is just the name of my research lab that I put all the projects in, all my community events. It just falls under that umbrella because, just like I said, we feel like it takes a village. And so we really have to get out there to introduce programs, to introduce research, to help better these families that are going through this, and also to make the community as a whole more aware of what's going on. And so, we have several projects that are listed under our Faith Village research. So we're developing a faith hat, that's home activities for families to do in the home, and it's so timely right now because so many churches haven't opened back up. And if they have a strong religious background, they still want to engage. And in that person living with dementia, engagement looks different at the different stages, right? Of currently where they are. So we just work with the families to develop that toolbox. We also have a dementia-friendly online worship service. And again, this is a short worship service for families to still be able to worship together, but within 10 minutes.
Wow.
And so and that's funded by the Alzheimer's Association. And so we're testing that. And so of course, everything I'm mentioning, y'all please reach out if you're interested. Okay. But you know, our bishop got so excited, you know, being involved in that, you know, because he had went through our training, our education. He was like, let's do this. He has developed a series of dementia friendly online worship services that we also have on our YouTube channel. We have Caregiving While Black, which is where we specifically meet the needs of Black caregivers that are caring for those living with dementia. And so we're actually launching that course out. It's totally online next month, November. Yeah, I got to remember what month, what day this is, but yes, November. And so again, the Faith Village Research houses our research components and also the education, community education that we do. So we have forums that are coming up. We have one on the 16th, they're online. We have a church leader workshop. So anything that we do, that's where that's housed. Now, Altar program is a specific program that we partner with churches to help them, like I mentioned earlier, to have the tools that they need to support the parishioners in the community that they serve. And so it is a program where we partner with churches. As of today, we have 17 churches that we've partnered with in Georgia and Illinois, but we are open to expand across the country. And we work with them to make sure they have things in place. So we have a guidebook. Over 2 years, we work with them as they select 18, I think it's 18 activities, 16 to 18 activities and initiatives that they would like to implement within their ministry and congregation. And we provide that support. And it's all surrounded by, we look at the physical environment. So if they're in church, going in church, there's certain things that we ask them to look at and assess within their church that may need to change. So it's, you know, better for that family. Then we also focus on caregiver support and support for that person living with dementia. Education and awareness is another bucket. And then the last bucket is worship. So we don't want to leave worship. We do speak to the faith leaders about what can you do to make sure that these families can still be able to connect spiritually, engage in worship. And we talk to them. We have some great conversations. And I make recommendations based on my research. And then we come up with something that they'll be able to share with families. And, we'll have.
Well, I love the fact that not only is it teaching the church how to support their parishioners there, but also adding in the part of the actual worship. A lot of us don't even think of that part. And I think that is excellent. How do we get involved? How do we help broaden what you're doing? Obviously, we'll put in the chat the different links so you can, everybody can join in. But as Lisa's Care Connection, number one, but also as other people listen and watch us today, how should people get involved if they think, gosh, I would love for my church to do something like that?
Call us. Call us or send us an email. However it is, please, because we know every church may not be ready, but we don't mind having that conversation because you might be ready next year. This program is funded through a sub-grant with HRSA. And please don't ask me what HRSA stands for.
I won't, I promise.
Okay. And so, it is a 5-year project, but we're working on trying to get more money to continue to support it. But we have time. We're just in year 3. So, we really like to speak to those that are interested, give them what they may need to bring back to a faith leader in the church if they're not the leader.
Sure.
And we just work with them to be able to share this. So All I have to do is say, call us, call us. We would love to have that. And will you have my number up, or do you need?
Yes, we will. We'll have it up. We'll put it in the chat so everybody can see it as well. And fantastic. Wouldn't it be wonderful? You know, we talk about dementia-friendly communities, dementia-friendly restaurants, and we've talked about dementia-friendly, you know, churches as well. But giving the churches the tools, and, you know, I'm excited to dive into some of your tools. I really want to see the altar program. I have read quite a bit about the Faith Village, but specifically that altar program seems really laid out. I mean, even to give them lists of activities, because I mean, churches are nonprofits too. They don't have time to be developing a new program.
No.
So it sounds like you guys, through your research and what you do, have, you know,
packaged it. We've kind of packaged it. And, you know, Marty, one of the biggest things is a lot of people do the education and they leave, but we don't leave. We're there to support them very closely for 2 years. And after the 2-year mark, it's how much support do they need? Is it just us touching base twice a year or annually? But that's the key thing. Is like we package it and we're helping you. And if you get overwhelmed, you call us, right? Because we can bring in additional resources. We also give financial contributions to the church as well. So there's no excuses.
That's right.
No excuses. You know, if you want to do this, let's make it happen. Let's try our best. Let's be creative. You know, for example, for a respite program, some people hear, oh, we got to do a full-fledged program, you know, and we give them this book, but sometimes, no, you don't. The point is it's respite. How can you as a church or congregation offer respite to your parishioners that are family caregivers? How can you do that? So it doesn't mean you have to do a full-fledged program, but maybe you can give stipends for them to pay a family member or someone they may trust that they can get away for 6 hours, you know? And so that's just an example of how we speak with the churches and try to help them come up with something that works for them. And it's still meeting the goal of supporting these families.
Sure. Absolutely. And so very important, just so very important. When we know how much they need that. And anybody listening to this today will know that answer as well. So Dr. Fayron, thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you've created. I think we could talk all day. I think we would love to share all of our ideas, and we could certainly do that. We just appreciate you being here. Would welcome you back anytime. We can dig into some more of those programs and talk about them. But thank you so much for what you're doing and bringing that to light and sharing it with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me, Marty. And I look forward to working with you all and hearing from the listeners. So please feel free to reach out to us.
We sure will. We sure will. Well, thank you guys. Marty Colucci signing off from Lisa's Care Connection. And we just thank Dr. Fayron Epps with the Faith Villages for being with us today. And please, if you have questions or comments, just send them to us. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.